Good morning, everyone. Facebook, this is Daryl Dillahunty, message to the masses. I woke up thinking this morning about something my daughter shared with me. And I haven't did a video for a while, and for good reason. I'm waiting for some technology to come through, and some information that I want to share with you is on that technology platform, and it's not ready yet. So that's why I haven't done any videos. But the good news is that I have a lot of incredible content that I want to share. At least I believe it is. But anyway, back to the reason why I'm doing this video today is, I don't know, it was several weeks ago. My daughter and I are talking. She's 24, graduated from college a couple of years ago. And I was sharing with her, now that she has a fairly decent job. She works at Facebook. She also works at the Mac counter in one of the local malls here in California. She does her own business, so she's making a fair amount of money. And I was sharing with her how she needs to make sure that she's doing the right thing with her money. And we adopted, or shared with her how to adopt the 30% rule. And that is 10% you give away, 10% you save for business, and 10% you keep as liquid access. Access to liquid capital. And we were also talking about how to use credit cards to increase your wealth by using OPM, other people's money. And I was showing with her how to do that. And so she's gotten up to a substantial amount of credit. But the bottom line is, and the point I'm getting to, is that she said, "Dad, you should teach this. You know this really well." And I said, "Yeah, I am going to teach it." And so we just kind of let that go. This is something I've been doing for years. I understand this because, I studied it and I applied these principles, and so it's worked. But she told me that I should teach it, like I just said. And I said, okay, fantastic. A couple of days later, I posted a video on something totally different. And I asked her, I said, "So what did you think about the video?" She said, "Yeah, it was good, but it's not you." I said, "What do you mean it's not me?" She said, "It doesn't sound like you. It doesn't sound authentic." And I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm certainly not putting on any airs. I'm not trying to be anyone else. But what she's seen was different from what she's seen when she talks to me one-on-one. So it really got me to thinking, am I sounding different to other people as well? People that know me, other people who don't know me. Do I not sound authentic? Well, let me just tell you 100% unequivocally, I am authentic. I am authentically me. Now, I may not sound like that sometimes, and that's because of my own personal training as a speaker. I was trained years ago as a speaker that you put your best foot forward in speaking. Articulate, make sure that you use your words properly. Maybe you even have to change your voice a little bit to appeal to certain crowds. And that's the way I was taught. But what I'm finding is that authenticity is king. And people want to know who you are from the rawest point, down and dirty, the mistakes you made in speaking. See, because when I was trained, if you made a mistake, you started all over, period. And I've let a couple of those things go, but it takes me probably longer than most of these kids. The kids can do 20 videos and take me to do one video. The time it takes me to do one video, because I want it to be presentable. But what I'm learning, several months ago, I joined the ATS University. It is an online business school that covers everything from A to Z, from business, real estate, personal development, all in one university. And the leader, or I should say the CEO of that company, there's two CEOs, Tempest S. Smith and Antonio T. Smith Jr. Excellent teachers. Now, I knew when I started that I needed to find a quote-unquote, let me put my other arm up here, because, guys, you don't know I had a stroke, so this arm is just now coming back. Oh, I'm so happy it's coming back. but my fine motor skills are just not there. You see, that's authentic. That's what they want to hear. They want to see that. I wouldn't necessarily want to do that myself, but hey, it is what it is. I'm getting it back, and praise God for that. But I knew I needed what? Some millennials, or more specifically, I needed someone who knew the industry and knew how to create a business online. And when I found this university, I should say the university found me, basically they cold called me. And maybe because I was looking around and my name came up on a list. I was looking at several universities. They were all, one thing they all had in common is that they were very expensive. And the ATS University was probably equally as expensive, but they had something that the other ones didn't have. And I'll get to that later. But my point is I had to learn how to be authentically me. And when I'm not, it shows up. I'm that guy, to be quite frank with you. I'm the guy that fights for the underdog, period. And if you don't like that, I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you like I see it. I may not be right at the time. If I'm not, I come back and try to clean it up. But for the most part, I'm going to tell you just like I see it. So that's the way I am. And I talk to my kids the same way. If they're screwing up, I'm going to tell them you're screwing up. And I may not use that word screwing up. I may use another word. I look at religion a different way than most people. I don't do religion. And I didn't say I don't do God, because I do. I just don't do religion. And so I fall into this category that is certainly not different from a lot of people in my age group, the way we were taught. So the bottom line is that through the university, I began to learn some different strategies and techniques. And the interesting thing about that is that in a few months, they're launching an online university that, I shouldn't say they're launching the university. The university is already in existence, but they're launching it in a way that the masses, the 97% of the people who don't have access to it now, will be able to afford it and have access to it. Because if you haven't, or I should say, if you haven't been under a rock, or been under a rock for the last 10 years, then you know the internet is the greatest invention since water, in my opinion, and oxygen. Well, I believe that, because if you don't have a presence on the internet, then in just a few years from now, you're going to be irrelevant, period. But the good thing about it, when you learn the skills, you already have the knowledge. You just need the skills to put it online and learn how to market yourself online by creating a brand and showing the world who you are. And so this is not necessarily a plug for ATS University, even though I love it and learning a great deal from the leaders, the CEOs, and the trainers that's involved. But more importantly, I want to tell you that you can change. You can do whatever you want to do as it relates to building your brand, building your business, making the kind of money you want, becoming the person you want to become. All of that's available to you now. You don't have to go to school for 4 years if you don't want to. I'm not telling you not to go to school. My last two children, my last son, the youngest son, is graduating here in a few months. My daughter graduated a couple of years ago, like I said. But the reality is they still need something more to make money. And particularly here in California, it is very difficult for young people to leave the nest and go get an apartment and live their lives because it's too expensive. You're talking about 3, 4, 5 people living in one place because the rent is $4,000 or $5,000 for a 3-bedroom house. That's ridiculous. So a lot of them are moving away, but that's not, in my opinion, the solution. The solution is to learn how to make the money that you need so you can afford to live wherever you want to live. You don't run from it because the prices get high. And I know a lot of people may not agree with that, but when you think about it, if you had the choice to change how much money you make and you could do it, and you didn't have to depend on anyone else to do it, as opposed to waiting for your job to give you your check every month, or every week, I should say, or every 2 weeks, or every month, that you could create income for yourself while you're working for someone else, while you're building your business? Doesn't that make sense? It makes 100% sense. And so it all starts, and I started with this video about being authentic. Be authentically you. If you do that, people are going to relate to you. Not all people will relate to you. Some people are going to hate you from the moment you open your mouth. Some people are going to love you from the moment you open your mouth. Some people are not going to be sure yet. But as you learn the skills and the strategies you need, then you're going to be able to draw those people as well. And maybe even some of those people that used to hate you, they may come back, yeah, I kind of like that guy. You know, he tells the truth. And guys, that's what I'm here to do, is to tell the truth. I may not be the most articulate person you ever will hear from, but guess what? I'm going to tell you the truth as I see it. If I find out something differently, I'm going to tell you that as well. Am I going to study what I say before I say it? Absolutely. And, you know, just like with everything or anything, there's a lot of different ways to look at it. There's a lot of different opinions. And case in point, when you look at diets, for example, and as a chef and I've studied nutrition, I'm not by any stretch of the imagination an expert on nutrition. But I did go to school and study holistic nutrition. So I'm a holistic nutrition consultant. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a specialist. I'm not a doctor. But I do understand nutrition, and I do understand food. And my goal is to make that as plain as possible when I'm teaching in that area. But I also understand business. And when you have a skill and you want to make that skill a business, you got to understand business. It only makes sense. So the two go together. And in the beginning, you're going to have to wear several hats. And it still goes back to the same thing. Are you authentic? Are you authentically you? And yes, you are. It's just that it seems like the camera changes you. It makes you feel like you got to do more. But that's not what people are looking for. That's not what they're looking for at all. They're looking for you, Daryl. They're looking for you, Sally. They're looking for you, Jim. They want to see you. Give it to them. Give it to them. And they will appreciate it. Guys, I didn't mean to be here this long. Looks like the camera's saying I'm at almost 13 minutes. I didn't mean to do that. I said I was going to do about 2 or 3 minutes. Wow. Big mouth. So anyway, thanks for taking the time to listen to this video. I have to get ready for a mastermind call. Gosh, I wish you were on that call with me. It's going to be phenomenal. We got some information that we're going to cover tonight that's going to blow people's mind. We're here to change the way we see things. It's all up here. Now, pointing here, I don't mean here because the mind is not in here. No, it's not. It's like the mind is like the software to the brain. The brain is in here, but the mind is outside the brain, right? And it interacts with that brain. It tells that brain. So brain outside the body, the mind outside the body, the brain in the body. The mind tells the brain what to do. The brain tells the body what to do. It's that simple. And once you make that connection, you can change anything. And that's what I mean by changing. I don't mean that you can just change, because what happens in knowing, you know this, everyone knows this, we have two minds, okay? For the most part. There's actually more, but we're going to talk about two. We're going to talk about the conscious and the subconscious. Now, I'm supposed to be getting off, right? Well, anyway, I'm still talking, so please continue to listen. Conscious and subconscious, or I call the active and reactive, because the reactive mind is the subconscious only reacting to what you've put there. The active is watching and hopefully screening. But because we have conditioned through our actions the subconscious mind for so long that it just became the body. It just does what it wants to do. all the time. You know, scientists have proven that by the age of 35, 95% of what we do, and I'm quoting Dr. Joe Dispenza in his book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, 95% of who we are is what he says we're running on subconscious programming. And to me, that first sounded weird until he really started to break it down, right? We get up, we do the same things the same way every day. And even when we want to change it, for some reason, we're not able to change it because it's the natural program. And I tested this out. You know, some mornings I wake up so inspired. I'm laying in my bed, and I'm going to do this morning. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to juice these beets. I'm going to make this incredible elixir, and I'm going to drink it. It's going to help control my blood pressure. Man, I'm going to do this. Then my feet hit the ground. And then my programming goes into motion. I go to the bathroom. I do what I do in the bathroom. I brush my teeth. I wash my face. I trim my beard. And then I'm set in motion. And I go to do the same thing I did yesterday. And if your goal is to change and you're running the same programs every day, how are you going to change? You're not. It may appear that you're changing, but the reality is you're doing the same thing you did yesterday. It's incredible. So anyway, didn't mean to go off that far, but that's what we're going to be talking about on our mastermind group tonight, is how do we tap into this source? How do we begin to make the changes, whether it's from what we eat to how we think, to starting a business, to changing our personalities, to finding the spouse or loved one, or connecting with a loved one, or finding a partner, life partner, whatever it is that you want to change, you can do it. Just got to know how. Got to know how. Can't wing it anymore. But the good thing about it is the information is available to us now. Anyway, second goodbye. Guys, thanks for listening. I'm going to go ahead and post this because I think it's pretty good. I think that you'll learn a little bit more about me and you get a chance to say, well, okay, I guess Daryl's all right. You know, some of you are going to listen to this. You went to school with me. And we have, in Oklahoma City, we have a 40th year reunion coming up. You said 40th? You mean you graduated from high school 40 years ago? Man, you don't even look 40. You know why? Do you see this? That's that good Beijing. I dyed that. That's right. That's dyed. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. You ladies, y'all do it all the time. So why can't I dye my beard and not be ashamed of it? I'm not ashamed of it. I dye it. I let it grow. Sometimes let a little gray come in here. Got the little two-tone thing going on. I love it like that. But yes, it knocks about 10, 20 years off my age. And I'm not ashamed. I'm 57 years old. And I'm proud of it. Third goodbye. Thanks for listening. Have a good day. I hope you enjoyed the video. Share it if you like. Goodbye, Facebook.